Liverpool let off against Crystal Palace shows Kostas Tsimikas shares Andy Robertson's strength. Liverpool survived a scare against Crystal Palace when Kostas Tsimikas appeared to impede Christian Benteke. Andy Robertson is a master of the almost foul. The final scoreline of Liverpool's meeting with Crystal Palace paints the picture of a wholly comfortable affair. For the most part, this is relatively accurate, but there were undoubtedly one or two scares along the way. Alisson clawing the ball off the line in the early exchanges was a heart-in-mouth moment. Another one came courtesy of Kostas Tsimikas. In for the rested Andy Robertson, when he collided with Christian Benteke in the box. It's one of those incidents that tends to be euphemistically described as a coming together. As a delivery was floated in, former Liverpool man Benteke sought to get himself in the right position to meet it. Tsimikas was aiming to disrupt this endeavour. The Greek left-back was just about on the move enough to class the resultant collision as a tangle of legs, but it was perilously close to being a trip. Jurgen Klopp will not want his players to be walking this tightrope too often, but there is a certain art to knowing how to play on the edge of the law. It is encouraging that Tsimikas seems to possess this trait, given that the man for whom he serves as deputy is a master of the craft. Robertson has made 191 Premier League appearances. Conceding just 3 penalties in that time, that's just one spot kick given away every 1.6 seasons. This would be a respectable record for any defender, but for one who plays in the manner of Robertson it is fairly remarkable. His attacking brief means that he is often tasked with hauling himself back down the pitch after a turnover. Ending this high-intensity sequence with a recovery challenge. The Scot averages more than 1.8 tackles per game over his time at Liverpool, meaning that for every penalty given away he makes over 114 tackles. Nor does this tell the whole story. Robertson often finds himself in a similar situation to the one Tsimikas faced at the back post against Palace. Rightly or wrongly, it does seem to be the case that players can get away with far more off the ball than they can when contesting an out-and-out challenge. This has not significantly changed even in a world of VAR. The aim is to disrupt without blatantly impeding. Essentially, it is the art of being a nuisance. Tsimikas was certainly right on the border against Benteke. And perhaps still has some learning to do when it comes to replicating Robertson's subtlety, but he did enough to at least create reasonable doubt. In the parlance of the VAR era, he made sure that the error could not be classed as clear and obvious. There was just enough ambiguity for the Stockley Park crew to accept the referee's assessment of the situation as a racing incident. To borrow a phrase from Formula One. In short, the skill shared by Robertson and Tsimikas could be summarized in a phrase slightly too crude to be repeated here. Suffice to say it rhymes with Kit Chowdhury. Luis Suarez, Diego Costa and the like are considered masters of the art. The received wisdom is that this is what wins teams titles. The fact that Liverpool have enjoyed such success under Klopp while continually topping the fair play table casts a little doubt on that. But it is surely true that a degree of needle and steel is needed to solidify a title charge. This moment from the Palace game is just the latest in a mounting pile of evidence that Tsimikas is the perfect mini Robertson. The Scots' game-time burden has been far too big over the past 2 seasons. So the emergence of the man who hardly featured last campaign as a viable understudy is a huge boost for Liverpool. The match from the weekend is the perfect example. Robertson was not injured. But Klopp trusted Tsimikas enough to spare the former Hull City man a 3rd game in a week. Caution must be exercised, given that on another day the referee could have pointed to the spot against Crystal Palace and changed the game. But Liverpool will take encouragement from Kostas Tsimikas' latest similarity to Andy Robertson.